So in Azure, we have two types of storage, which is unmanaged disk and managed disk. Unmanaged disk, it is not recommended to, because this is some most of the configuration should be managed by customer itself. Only the hardware is managed by Microsoft, but all the rest of the things should be taken care by customer. So nobody is recommending this. Just forget about this option is exist or not. Okay, do not use it for anything. And then we have managed disk. This will have a SLA of 99.99% as well. So when you say managed disk, what are the use cases? You can use this for the operating system disk, and also you can attach it as a data disk. Let's say if you need a additional disk to store some other data other than operating system, then you can use it for that as well. And then we'll have a temporary disk. So this is, we cannot use it by default. Temporary disk comes with the most of the Azure VM series, not all, most of the Azure VM series. This is normally used for the host maintenance and also like page file, application memory, etc., etc. Okay, so it's not allowed to store any data on temporary disk, because when the host which is containing the VMs reboots, all the data which you store in the temporary data will get erased. Okay, I recommend you create a group policy to hide this on your VDIs. Otherwise, I have seen user will store the data, and after some time, some days, they will tell that my data is destroyed. So better to hide this using group policy, or if you have any other technology, registry or WEM, many options are available to hide the temporary disk. Okay, so coming to the tiers, so we have ultra disk, premium, standard, and standard HDD. Okay, so my always recommendation, you go with the premium SSD if you are hosting a multi-session, because multi-session will have multiple users are logging in to that VMs at the same time, and they're doing all the work at the same time. So it requires higher IOPS, and also always go with the premium SSD. For the non-production workload, or that doesn't require, or if you have a single session, then standard SSD is also fine, but never go with standard HDD. Okay, and ultra disk, which is not supported at this moment for Azure Virtual Desktop as far as my knowledge, but I don't know, latest recently they brought that support ability. As far as my knowledge, it's not supported ultra disk, but you can check for the latest updates from the Microsoft. Okay, so production, my recommendation, go with SSD premium. Okay, so for the multi-session, always go with the P15, which is having 256 GB. If it is a single session, go with the P10, which is having 128 GB. But again, this is depends on the requirements. For example, let's say if you need, if your application which you are installing, it requires more storage, then you have to plan accordingly. Okay, so this is the end of this topic.